Come out to the box.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
Once again, I'm D-Boy Slim.
And The Basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, most times, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, family, and it is that time again. Last week, we saw our illustrious Commander-in-Chief give his second State of the Union address. And as you all know, we only have about 15 to 20 minutes to break it down, so we're going to get right to it. We're going to do our best to hit the most important points, and those points that most affect us in the hip-hop community and the world around us.
And Bruce just says that because we could go on a 2-hour rant.
Facts.
Easy about this guy and his buffoonery, but we'll keep it to a minimum of 15, 20 minutes, as Bruce stated, and we'll try to cover all aspects with that.
With that being said, let go.
Started off the right way.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Usually, we usually try to keep it inside the hip hop lines and, just discussing what goes on the everyday inside of our culture. But politics is definitely tied in to hip hop and our culture. And as the years go by, we've evolved and become more conscious and knowledgeable and informed about what exactly is going on with our White House, our president, and politics in general. And as I do personally, it just becomes more alarming, more funny, more disappointing, more disheartening. And that's echoing the words of the one and only Jay-Z. He had some rebuttals in a response to Trump's latest foolishness, which was, he referred to the countries in Africa and Haiti as shitholes.
Oh.
I can only imagine how Haiti feels, because when I look at the comments in the interview, I get disgusted. It's a certain energy that runs through me that I get disgusted.
You suck!
So I can imagine how hurtful and disheartening that is for Haitians and Africans the same. As I said, Jay-Z had made comments about it, and he basically said the same thing. And, I'm echoing what he said, but I feel the same way. Like, it does make you angry, and it is disappointing, but it's actually it's actually hurtful. Like, you feel like attacked. You know what I'm saying? You feel like somebody smacked you and you can't really smack them back. Like, it's ridiculous. I believe the ambassador to Haiti, he simply stated, is the president misinformed or just uneducated?
Now, Haiti's ambassador to the U.S. vehemently condemning the remarks, summoning a U.S. official to explain them. The ambassador slamming Mr. Trump, saying either the president has been misinformed or he is miseducated.
And I think it's maybe both. I stated to Bruce, it's laughable, because here it is. This is a president of the United States
of America.
Like, he goes around making comments like he's a third grader or something.
Don't denigrate third graders like that, man.
I mean, it's very loud.
I know a lot of third graders who make a lot more intelligent comments than he makes.
And I also want to echo what Jay-Z said in his interview when responding to the president, when he says, let's not act all alarmed and surprised, because this is how they talk about us. And we seen that, what was that, a couple of years ago with Donald Sterling, when he just happened to be caught on tape speaking regularly, but just happened to be recorded while he's talking. And as we find out, I mean, because me and Bruce don't talk like that, but as we find out, this is how they talk about you. This is how they feel about you. Mm-hmm. And there's really no explanation. I heard somebody say, yeah, for clarification. There's no clearing it. I mean, there's nothing to clarify. It's you know, it is what it is. You know, who was that? A state representative or somebody, you know, was saying, I mean, it's just unacceptable. It's racism. It's blatant racism.
Thursday.
This remark by the President of the United States smacks of blatant racism.
Now, I hope today's comments were just a crass and flippant mistake and do not reflect the hateful racism they imply.
And like you said, I mean, I don't know, but like I said, it's hurtful. And these are just adjectives I'm coming up with, but I mean, it's unacceptable for a president that runs nation, that's in charge of states and countries and policies and laws and nuclear weapons and things of this nature to go back and forth on such a juvenile level to name calling other countries, and for no other reason other than the fact that he doesn't like their ethnicity. He doesn't like that. I mean, let's just be real about it. You know, because he went to Norway and sat down and he said we need more countries. And this the basis of it came from speaking about immigration. And so, because I don't want to get y'all lost in as to why he was making these comments. It came from it was a conversation about immigration. And so he's publicly told people, why don't we have more Norways, and what do we need these Haitians
Norwegians.
for? Right. What do we need these Haitians for? Can't we take them all out? Who cares about the people in these shithole countries anyway? This is saying, and black people, you know, I don't want to be divisive towards white people, because I know we have white fan base just as well and a white audience, and we appreciate your support.
Get yourself out.
Black people, don't be fooled, and I say that because this exists. This is a reality for us.
To act like it doesn't exist is to cut off your own foot.
Right. A society in which we're raising our children in, and the President of the United States openly lets you know that he doesn't like you. Go ahead, Bruce. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, you know, let's move accordingly.
Move accordingly. Listen, we said beforehand, excuse me, let me just turn this phone off.
And some of this is the importance. If you caught any of our other rants or shows that where we talked about the president of politics, this is why Bruce was always stressing about voting, and you know,
I don't have to say it.
It's important.
Just said it.
It's important.
Listen, we started this off by saying our reality star in chief gave another State of the Union address, and in that address, he mentioned and talked about immigration. So what you're talking about, the S-hole countries, and the fact that he only wants people from Norway, and who he thinks is not worth it, it shows its ugly head. You might think it's funny, but it shows its ugly head when he starts talking about serious policies like he did on whatever day that was for the State of the Union address. My man was in reference to speaking about dreamers. Let's give you a little context. The dreamers are kids who were brought here when they were too young to make the decision from another country, and they don't know any other country. They cannot have had any record, that is criminal record. They have to have graduated school. Most of them are either in college or in the military serving you. If they're not in the military or in college, you can ask them, they're out working. They're out working, paying taxes. Thankful, that's why they call them dreamers. But what you realize is when you elect somebody who thinks every other country with brown-skinned people are shitholes, that's how he sees them, and that's the only context in which he sees people of color. He will never acknowledge that those kids that came here also got jobs, or also risked their lives for this country in military, or also go to college and become professors, lawyers, doctors. He can't see that far, because all he sees is a shithole when he talks about them. And that's why you see when he sees people, when he's talking about dreamers, the only people that he can talk about is MS-13 and drug dealers and rapists. Understand the difference. Dreamers brought here of not of their own accord, graduate school, go to college, fight for America, teach your kids, save your kids' lives as doctors. MS-13 members, gangsters and killers. If that's the only way he sees you, he will never, ever, ever be able to come up with a plan to help you. That's why it's important. That's why what he's talking about is important. Not just because it's a strike on Americans across the world.
We've tried to eliminate for so many years, and why we have a democracy in the first place.
Besides that, on policy alone, if you can't see individuals as humans and only as MS-13 members and shitholes, you will never, ever, ever be able to come up with a policy to cure it or help it in any way. That's why it matters. Let's continue on with because we don't have a lot of time, but I just wanted to tell you, every time this guy opens his mouth, it's a lie.
It's a dirty, stinking lie. Every time. Facts.
So I just wanted to name a few. In his 90-minute speech, wroth with lies, he first said because of him, there's 2.4 million new jobs created. Name the policy. Not one. There was 2.4 million new jobs created before he got in office. It's called Obama did it. You have not made one policy in any way,
That would change the
in
direction
either direction
of anything.
I'm going to show you the chart. Did you see the chart? It's been going like this for 8 years. You can't stand at the top and say, look what I did. Lies. He also said the rising wages, probably best ever. Lies. It's been going that way for 8 years. Black unemployment is down. It's the lowest ever. Because of him? Lies. It's been going that way for years. All of these charts will show you that. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to see that these are lies. He's taking credit for something he didn't do.
It's like a coach coming in, with Tony Dungy, he put all his personnel in, and then he gets fired from the job before he gets to see all the quarterbacks and the quarterback coaches and the running backs and the linebackers and defensive linemen that he implemented and put into his system. Mm-hmm. And then they go win a championship.
And then Gruden comes in and you win a championship.
And says, look what I did.
Lies. Next lies. Biggest tax cuts in American history. Even that's a lie. Why do you have to... Aren't you scared of a person who has to exaggerate the size of their dick every single time they speak? Aren't you not scared of that person? It's just not. It's the 9th biggest. The 9th biggest is pretty cool if you care about big tax cuts, but you can't even get away with that. It's the same person who has to attack someone on Twitter every time they say something. Every time they say something. You're the president of the United States. Grow a pair. Stop being so thin-skinned. You don't have to have the biggest tax cut. It's a lie. It's the 9th biggest. It's just numbers. The next lie. You're going to take home more money after taxes because of his plan.
Break that down.
There's all types of loopholes in there that means when you take money that the rich used to give, that fund your schools, that fund your bridges, that fund your roads, they have to get it from you, the poor person. And so they're saying, well, what if we give tax breaks to the rich people, that means that they're going to pass those breaks on to you and you're going to be making more money. Not only is that just not true and hasn't been proven for over 50 years since Reagan tried it, it's just a lie. It's in 8 years, everybody's taxes will be up except the 1%. It's in the plan. Read it. It's a lie. It's a gimmick. So this year you get $500 more back in your taxes and you go, wow, this really worked. When you go back next year and you realize that the deduction for the extra kids is gone, you realize that the deduction for gas that you go to work only applies to people who own their own business and you don't, When you realize that all the deductions you used to get are no longer there, you're gonna take home not only less in your paycheck, you're not gonna get back more when you file your taxes the next year. That's 2019. Next year. The money you get this year isn't because of this tax plan. It's a lie. Last lie that I can talk about before we go too far. He says he cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. And somehow that's going to give you an extra $4,000 in your pocket. Math. How is that possible? How is that possible? I can tell you one problem is Sam's Club is closing many of their doors. Almost 4,000 people laid off. But Walmart, who owns Sam's Club, just gave a $1,000 bonus to their people. That's part of the $4,000 you're talking about? Does that equate to the 4,000 jobs that were just lost? And they will tell you it's because now that they have a new tax plan, they want to spend more money on making stores bigger, not paying their employees. So they fired them. Huggies. People who make Huggies, other types of tape, Johnson & Johnson, fired 7,000 people while giving 300 of them $1,000 bonus. Add it up for yourself. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Every time he opens his fat orange mouth, only lies come out of it. And if you can't tell it yet and you're still gullible enough to believe it, I can't help you anymore.
You're a loser. Loser.
And that's the wrap up.
You tell me. I mean, who is this guy actually? Who is he representing? What is his motive actually? You know.
Even if you thought that it was all good when you voted for him and he would shake things up, name a policy that he's shaking up. There's not one. Anything good that's happening is because he hasn't been able to do anything. Thank God. It just so happened the Dow fell after his speech. Today, it fell. People have lost trillions. And it's going to get worse as they realize that Obama is no longer president. And it can no longer live off the good things that he did. It will continue to go this way.
It's a joke.
Get this guy out of here.
Put it lightly.
Listen, I'm going to name a few people for the shout outs. Marquise Smith, thank you so much, man. I don't even want to read what you said. But, yeah, you was going with today's clothing, in other words. And that's what's up, man. I'm sure, you know, D-Boy likes that foolishness. Appreciate you.
We just talked about
We
it.
just talked about it. Appreciate you, Marquise Smith, man. Abdul Mimon, you said we need to talk about the immigration plan. There it is, man. Abdul Mimon, thank you. Keep on hitting us up. King Ice, you said 90s. Thank you. Somebody with some sense out here. Appreciate you, King Ice. Ronald Monreef said, would be nice if politicians did what we paid them for the first time around. I can't agree with you more. Thank you, Ronald Monreef. Also, 2 new subscribers, Danny Obando. Danny Obando, new subscriber, and Adam Flint. Listen, we appreciate everybody who watches, everybody who comments, and especially our new subscribers. So thank you all. That's the basement for the day. Think about what we said. Get your own facts out there, but understand that we're not lying to you, man. This is the facts. This is hip hop. Hip hop is politics. The basement.
Keep tuning in. That's Bruce. I'm D-Boy. We out of here.
Peace.